Hello. I just went outside for the first time in 2 days. And it's also my mum's birthday. So I thought I'd give her a little shout out, tell some stories about her. My mum is the best. She's like... She always told us that she should go to NIDA, or she should have gone to NIDA. And NIDA is the National Institute of Dramatic Arts, I think. It's like one of Australia's biggest acting colleges, because she has this ability to be quite dramatic and theatrical and eccentric. Like, she'll sing and she'll dance and she'll talk to cats. Like, growing up we had a cat, she would always make up songs with the cat, or she would talk to the birds and sing to the birds. And she was the loud one of our household. And that's where I get my singing, I think. Like, most people that know me know that I just make up little songs, and it's funny that Camilla is now doing that too. And she's getting better at it than me. And it was all because of Mum. Mum would just make up little songs and have the records on all the time. And even the other day I was singing a song that she would play, and I didn't know the words. And so I looked it up on YouTube, and the words were not actual words, so I could have made anything up. And she's also super comforting. Like, I like being around her because it's just peaceful and chill. And then she's also the one that taught me how to cook by looking in the fridge and just chucking whatever I had into a pan and seeing what happened. Because it was a funny contrast between Mum and Dad, because Mum was just like, I know what flavours are, I'm going to just make up the flavours. And Dad would be like, no, I don't cook, I just read the cookbook. And he would just go step by step. And then after probably 15 years of that, Dad became able to be like, oh yeah, I'll just chuck it in the pan. And so I've picked up both of those skills of like, yeah, I vaguely understand what I'm trying to do, but then also, no, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just going to read this. And now a lot of our recipe books are in Lithuanian, and so I have to read it like twice. And even last night I saw a word that I was like, what is this word? And Camilla was like, oh, it's broccoli. I was like, what? It was like, their word is broccoli cabbage. And that just means broccoli. So that was fascinating. And then Mum is also one who had specific, not traditions, but things that she enjoyed happening. And so she had this thing for a long time in our life where we had to kiss her before we'd go to school. And my childhood memory was her rationale behind it was like black humoured, in that, well, if I don't kiss you goodbye and you die at school, then I wouldn't have kissed you before you die. And we were like, what? You think about our death? And so we'd kiss her, and sometimes it became a game of like trying to sneak out the house without her kissing us, but she was so good at knowing when we'd be trying to kiss us. I mean, run away from not getting kissed, which is pretty funny. And then she was an avid gardener. She still is. And she would treat her pets, my brain. She would treat her plants like pets. Like, she had a little fig tree for a while, and she had a little lemon tree, and she would like treat them real nice and talk about them like they were her family. We had a big apricot tree and a mulberry tree, but she didn't speak so much like that. And her birds. She has a bird feeder, or we used to. I don't know if she still does. We used to have this huge Chinese elm tree out the front, or the back of our dining room. And she had this awesome little feeder that would dangle, and she'd just put seeds or whatever. And some of the coolest birds would come. In fact, one of my colleagues was wearing a shirt that had an eastern rosella in it. And an eastern rosella is this small, really colourful bird that we would have all the time. And I was like, whoa, I haven't seen one of them since I left my mum's house. So good. And it's interesting knowing my mum from afar, because I moved out of home at 19... and then moved cities at 23, and then moved continents 28. And one of the things she said to me was like, almost, oh, you'll be back. Like, I don't believe that you're moving away for long. And then after I'd lived overseas for like 2 or 3 years, she resigned to the fact, oh, you're not coming back. That sucks, but I would like you to promise us to Skype us every week. And at first I was like, oh, yeah, okay. like almost like, yeah, I'll do that for you. But then as we did it, it's been the best knowing my parents every week. Because even when I was living in Canberra, maybe we'd have dinner once a week or maybe even once every 2 weeks. And they lived far away enough that I wouldn't just walk over often. But this Skyping every week, it's all getting to know each other in different ways. And I love it. It's been so good. And like they keep saying, thank you for doing this. It's such like an honour, but it's more an honour for me, I think, because then when I get back to Australia, they're not strangers. Like we're really good friends, which is so nice. And it's funny watching them getting to know Camilla too, and vice versa. It's so cute. And so it's fun watching my mum, because my mum's watching my two parents. My dad is this extreme extrovert who tells a lot of stories and knows a lot of people. And my mum is in a way this extreme introvert unless you get her in a room with people she trusts, and then she converts into this eccentric, loud, funny, like she's a very funny person. And so getting her on Skype, Dad will tell a lot of stories, but then Mum has all of these new stories because she had a job and then she's retired, but she's still meeting all of these people and she's rethinking how she thinks. And so she's so excited about that. But then all of these old stories that I've either completely forgotten or never heard before come out because my stories are differing. And then she'll be like, oh yeah, I had that before, and blah, blah, blah. And it's been so good. So I love my mum. I definitely miss her. A lot more than I thought. Like when I moved away from Australia, I was like, I won't be long, so I'll come back. So I didn't even think about missing my family. But as it's gotten longer and longer, I miss being around them, like physically with them. And even in this quarantine, Camilla was saying the other day how she just wants to hug people. She's like, it's not, because we can Skype people and we're getting pretty good at Skyping people, but just the physical presence of people. And last time I was in Australia, there were times where me, my mum and my dad were sitting in a room together, or we'd be drinking tea together, and Dad would be watching something and Mum would be doing something and I'd be sitting there, and just being with them was so calming. So I liked them. And my mum taught me a lot about flowers, and then Camilla has taught me more about that, like the names and the smells. And Mum, I think, it's interesting that I relate smells to both of my parents, like books and mowing the lawn and freshly cut grass when I would play hockey, and freshly opened oranges are all my dad. Like incredibly good memories are connected to those smells of my dad. And then Mum, it's like jasmine, because we used to have a jasmine bush out front, and then I think she or maybe Dad introduced me to jasmine tea, but just like the smell of jasmine. And then she used to have a hand cream that smelled maybe like jasmine. And so I relate that smell with her. And then storing things. Like my mum loves storing things in really nice locations. And so she has a nut cupboard that just has all of these different types of nuts, because I think Dad likes nuts and then she likes nuts for protein and stuff like that. And so anytime you'd go back to the parents, you'd always know the nut cupboard was there so that you could just eat stuff. And there were like different values of nuts, like peanuts and almonds, they were okay, but they weren't great. And then like walnuts and pecans, and then cashews were like, whoa, you can't eat the cashews unless it's like a special occasion. And if cashews came on special, she'd buy a lot of them. And there's the other thing. I loved that Mum would think so much ahead that sometimes we would have 7 or 8 tubs of butter in the fridge, because she had waited and waited and waited, and then butter had come on special. And she knew how much we ate it, and she knew how long it could be preserved. And so we've started doing that here. Just like, laundry detergent on sale, we should buy 3 of them. It's the best. She's so smart. And then reading and photo albums, Mum was really good at. And then watching Mum's process of learning how to use computers and digital cameras was so funny, because for so long she refused. She was like, no, I've got my film camera, I'm going to keep my film camera. And I was like, okay, but hopefully one day you'll realise that film costs and digital cameras, digitalness doesn't cost. And there was this switch that she had to learn how to use computers because she was going to TAFE, but she just hated it, and she kept calling the computer poison or the devil. Same with her phone. She just gave it different names that meant, I hate this thing. But she would always Skype and be like, alright, I need to ask you how to do this one thing. And you'd tell her, and then she'd write notes, and then she'd ask a question, and then she'd write more notes, and then she'd try it, and then she'd be successful, and then the next time she'd ask something else. And it was such a beautiful picture of learning. And so I've learnt a lot from her. Like, I learnt my note-taking skills from her because I just realised that I learn a lot quicker and a lot deeper if I take notes. Yeah, she's a good one. I wonder if I learnt how to give names to animals that too, or if that was just an Unga. So anyway, big ups to my mum for living a great life and still living. And hopefully she gets to meet her new nephew soon. No, my nephew, her grandson. Yep. Alright. Happy birthday, Mum. And to all mums out there. Ooh, I have to eat a pear soon. I love eating pears. Alright, bye.